This video will show you how to complete an intent to sponsor form, also known as the ITS. Note that you can click on the timestamps in the description of this video to navigate through the different topics we will cover. The intent to sponsor form is your sponsoring group's formal commitment to sponsor students through WUSC's Student Refugee Program for the following year. The ITS is WUSC's quality assurance tool. It helps WUSC ensure that local committees are meeting the minimum standards for the sponsorship of refugees as determined by the governments of Canada and Quebec. It tells WUSC how many students to select overseas. The ITS also collects information about academic requirements of each institution. We use this information to help us match students to your campus. Now we will show you the ITS and highlight some key information that will help you complete it correctly. You can find the ITS on the My Committee platform. You can access My Committee via our website at campus.wusc.ca. Once you have logged into My Committee, click on Intent to Sponsor Form on the homepage. Find the correct record type, for example, 2223 unsubmitted, and click on the ID number to be taken to the form. If your intent to sponsor form already has data appearing in the fields, that means you completed one in the system last year that has been duplicated for your convenience. You are required to review and edit all of this information to ensure its accuracy for next year. You can edit using the pencil icon. You must then confirm that you have reviewed and updated the information by using the checkboxes called Sponsor has reviewed section ABC. You cannot submit the ITS unless all of these boxes are checked. If no data appears in the intent to sponsor form, you did not yet complete one in the new system. Please complete all the fields and then check the boxes to show that you have reviewed the fields. Note that you can save your ITS at any time and return to it later. You will see that each field has a little circle with the letter I inside. If you hover your mouse over this circle, it will show you important help text, such as WUSC's minimum requirements for different budget lines. Start with inputting your sponsoring group contacts on the top right by selecting New. Please note that this is different from entering a local committee member, like you can do from the main My Committee page. The contacts listed here should be those who will be directly involved in supporting the student's integration. These people will receive our monthly emails called SRP Action Items and Sponsorship Milestones. There must be at least 5 people listed as per the Government of Canada requirements. You won't be able to submit the form unless you input one person. Ensure you identify one primary and one secondary contact. Please make sure these people input their email and phone numbers. For sponsoring group information, you can let us know if you don't yet have 5 group members, how you plan to recruit a few more members, and then you can input them in the sponsoring group section later. For sponsorship information, here is where you input the number of students you wish to sponsor the following academic year. Your expenses will be multiplied by the number that you input here. This section is also where you provide some key arrival details. In the living expenses section, most fields ask for the monthly amount you will spend on that budget line. The form will automatically calculate the totals for the year and multiply by the number of students that you will sponsor. Please use the help text to guide you through the expense sections correctly. Once you complete the expenses sections, you can move on to the revenue, starting with the levies. If you have any levies, a student levy, a graduate student levy, faculty or staff levy, input any and all information to those funds that you collect. For the waivers, please input the total value of all waivers you will receive in a given category and indicate for how many students that will apply to. Note that this section does not do an automatic calculation. Unspent funds refers to any funds you have in reserve in your account that will not be used for a current sponsorship. If you are securing any donations for the SRP, such as from a local community organization or the president's office of your school, you can enter them as separate entries at the top right of the ITS page. This includes any cash donations and in-kind donations, like laptops and winter clothing. For in-kind donations, write the estimated value of the item in the value of donation line. To balance the budget, please input the value of that item in the expenses section so that it matches the value of the donation. If you are generating any special revenue for a WUSC project, such as in the 2022 Afghanistan response, you will need to complete a separate revenue section at the top right of the page. If there are any revenues like waivers or donations that are specific to that particular initiative, please input them separately here. This helps us track any additional support that we have mobilized directly to that initiative. Ensure to list these special donations only in this space and not to double count them by also entering them in the regular donations and waivers section. If you plan to host any fundraising events where the funds raised will be used to cover the costs associated with this sponsorship, input these events here. As these events are completed, you will be asked to report them in the public engagement section of My Committee. This completes the expenses and revenue section of the ITS. Ensure that the budget summary and financial assessment section reflects your own calculations and banking records. Any support provided to an SRP student after the 12-month period is considered a scholarship, also known as post-sponsorship support. This information is important for WUSC to know, but it is not included in the expenses formulas and calculations because the ITS is meant to capture just the 12-month sponsorship information. Then we move on to the academic information portion of the ITS. Many SRP students benefit from some English language learning upon arrival. Please tell us if your institution has formal language learning programs that are accessible to SRP students. Also tell us in this section what your institution's language requirements are for admissions to regular academic programs. Only complete those for the language that applies to your institution, but please note that even in the French language test section, you'll need to complete that checkbox in order to submit your intent to sponsor form. We will also ask you for some more general admissions information, such as connecting us to an admissions contact at your institution directly. And we ask that you let us know a little bit about the academic support that you will be providing to an SRP student during their sponsorship. In the social support section, we ask you to tell us your plan to provide social support to the SRP student for the duration of their 12-month sponsorship. Please answer all questions in this section with as much detail as you can. Similarly, for the health and well-being support section, tell us how the student will learn about and take advantage of health coverage and services at the student, provincial, and federal levels. Respond to all questions in as much detail as possible. You can use our health and wellness guide to understand WUSC's recommendations for supporting the health and wellness of SRP students. You can find this on the local committee hub website, canvas.wusc.ca. You have now completed the intent to sponsor form. To submit the ITS, hit Save. Then return to the top of the ITS page. Select the circular arrow icon that appears next to the record type. Scroll down to select the new record type for the appropriate year with the word submitted. Example 2022-2023 submitted. Click Next. There is no requirement to make any change in this window, so just hit Save. This locks your intent to sponsor form for editing and informs SRP staff you are ready for our review. If at any time before or during the sponsorship you need to edit the ITS, including any changes to sponsoring group contacts, please inform an SRP staff member. The intent to sponsor form is due each November. Once you submit your form, a WUSC staff will collaboratively review the form with you before it is approved. We invite you to ask us questions via email or during the upcoming Q&A session. Thank you for watching this video and for your commitment to welcoming refugee youth to study in Canada.